Hey everyone, it's Noelle Russell. I know I've been sharing a little bit of my journey with the Whole30 challenge for the month of January, and I was intending to sit down and write up a recap, and I've had sick kids at home all week this week. So I thought I would hop on live and just share with you my recap and review of the program. Because I've had a lot of people asking me questions. A lot of people were interested before I started, and a lot of people said, hey, let me know how it goes at the end. So I hope you find this helpful. So I'm going to go through my notes so that I touch on the main points that I want to talk about. And then at the end, if you have some questions, you can just post below what kind of questions you have, and I'll work to answer those. Okay? So first of all, if you're not familiar with the Whole30, what is the Whole30? I think there's a lot of confusion on this if you're not familiar with it. So first of all, the Whole30 is a program where you are cutting out the most offensive food and drink categories for 30 days. And these categories are things that cause gut issues, hormonal issues, inflammation issues, impact your immune system, or have a psychological impact. So, i.e. cravings that you're having, things that control your brain, okay? So there's a list of categories, and you cut all of those things out for 30 days, and you basically let your body heal and your gut heal. And then at the end of the 30 days, there's a schedule for reintroducing those categories one by one to learn how they impact your body. So basically, it's a personal science experiment to find out, first, to take away all the things that typically bother people and cause health issues, and then see how you personally feel, because we're all different, we're all wired differently. So what might bother my body might be totally fine for you. So you kind of think of it as a personal science experiment. So it's not meant to be a diet at all. It's not meant to be for weight loss. You throw away the scale for the whole time you're on the program. It's really about learning how the foods and drinks that you're eating impacts your body and how you feel. And I think you would be really surprised, if you haven't done this program, how many things that you are doing that you think is totally fine and it's really not. So, great learning experience. So basically the main categories are, for 30 days you cut out all alcohol, all sugar and sweeteners, all dairy, all grains, and all legumes for 30 days. So I finished it up on Monday, so I'm a couple days post the official 30 days. Why did I want to do this? Okay, I think there's a lot of misconception out there with why I wanted to do this. It has nothing to do with weight loss. It has nothing to do with vanity. Nothing to do with any of that stuff. There's two main reasons why I wanted to do this program. Number one, I have struggled for a while with sugar and carb cravings. I know a lot of people think that I'm over here eating perfectly because I'm a coach, but I am human too, and I love my wine, and I love my chocolate, and I love chocolate chip cookies and pizza and all of that stuff, right? And I find the more you eat of it, the more you crave it. And even with the best intentions, going from Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve, we consumed a lot of sugar at my house. And I just knew I was at the point where I wanted to change more than I wanted to stay the same. So I really wanted to break that cycle, because the sugar is so addictive, and it's so hard to get away from, and it controls your brain. So I thought, okay, maybe this would be just something, 30-day reset, get me away from stuff, because I've learned in the past I can say, oh, I'm going to cut back on this. But I just thought I need a cold turkey approach. Okay, so that was my selfish reason. My second reason for doing this is I have quite a few people I have worked with over the past year or two that have different health issues that are either like inflammation or autoimmune issues, things like that, where I really truly believe they can be addressed or reduced with how they're eating. And that's one of the big things that this program helps people with. So I thought I can't really recommend this to other people until I've done it myself and I know how hard it is, or if I could stick to it, because I don't want to recommend something to somebody that I care about if I'm not strong enough to do it myself. Okay, so I thought if I want to recommend this, I really need to do it myself and have a first-hand experience with the program. So those were my two reasons for doing this. Okay, so I'm going to refer to my notes a little bit. Okay, next question. How hard was it? Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've had the books sitting in my office for probably a year, and I have never had the courage enough to do the program because that's how hard I thought it was going to be. I really didn't think I could cut out all those things for 30 days. I thought I would be miserable. I thought I would be grumpy the whole time, and I thought I would cave. And so I was really nervous about even putting anything out there on social media about wanting to do this program because I really honestly didn't think I could do it. But I put it out there. I had huge interest from a bunch of people. And it ended up being a small group of us actually decided to do it. And it was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so the first week was hard. Doing the sugar detox was hard. If you have ever made the effort to 100% cut out all sugar and sweeteners, pretty much all processed food, your body detoxes. So headaches for the first week, I had major headaches. I felt really grumpy. My family was annoying me like crazy. They were all detoxing from sugar as well. So it was not, we were a little bit irritable in our house for the first week. Brain fog, where I just felt like I couldn't focus, I couldn't concentrate. All of that is from the sugar. Okay, so the first week was kind of tough. In the evenings, I've had a bad habit of snacking, staying up too late and then snacking at night, usually on carbs, because your body will crave carbs and sugar for energy when you're not getting enough sleep. So I was in a really bad cycle with that too. So in the evenings that first week, I felt like my belly was eating itself. I was grumpy and I had headaches, but I knew I had to pass through that first phase. And honestly, after the first week, it was really easy. And I'm not just saying that. I have no affiliation with this program. I'm not benefiting from this at all. My whole reason for sharing this is try to help somebody out there that might be able to cure a health issue by doing this program. Okay. So honestly, after the first week, which I got through it, the other ladies in my group got through it. And after that, we keep talking about like, wow, this is so easy to stick with this. Wow, I feel great. Like this isn't hard at all. And it is so, so much easier. So I'm so glad I did this. And now I can honestly share with anyone. It's really not that hard. And I'll get into in a little bit what I thought helped me get through the program. Okay. 30 days, part of the rules for the program is absolutely no cheats. You have to commit 100%. And for 30 days, I committed and I didn't cheat once. Not a single bite at all for 30 days of anything that was off plan. Now I did tweak our family meals a little bit. So I maybe instead of having like brown rice that my family had, I would make another vegetable for myself. And all the times that what my family was eating was pretty healthy for dinner, even when I really wanted something, I never took a bite of anything, okay? So if I can do it, so can you. Because I will get to this in a second on why. So next big question, what did I learn? As I was jotting down notes for this, this is a big one, and I will try really hard to be brief. I could probably talk for half an hour on what I learned from this. First of all, I really learned how much sugar and carbs were controlling the cravings that I was having for various things, how much it was controlling my energy, and how much it was really controlling my mind in the psychological aspect. Really crazy. Once I got them out of my system after that first week, it was really easy to stick to the plan because I wasn't craving anything. And in the past, all this time that I thought like my willpower was just really bad, of if there's chocolate in the house, like I don't have the willpower to not eat it. After that first week of cutting that stuff out, it wasn't a big deal. I've had chocolate sitting in my house the whole 30 days, and I haven't even thought to go and look for it, because my body is not craving, my mind is not craving that sugar. So that was huge for me. So when I talked about my first goal for doing this was to try to cut the sugar and carb cravings, 100% this program has done that for me, which is amazing and worth the whole program in itself for doing this. The second big thing that I got out of it, in reading some of the books, There's, which I'll go into this, there's the Whole30 book, which I realize this is backwards because I'm on selfie mode. This is the main one. And then there's also a book that's called It Starts With Food that gives you the science behind the program. Since I'm an engineer, I want to understand the why behind something before I will commit to it. So this tells you the why of what you're doing. And in it, it talked about when you're over-consuming carbs and junk food and sugar, your body is constantly burning and going to that sugar to burn for energy. And then when you're eating too much of it, your body just stores that extra sugar and carbs as fat. Okay, and that's why people gain weight. So, and there was some blurb in there a little bit about athletic performance. I have always thought that I struggled a little bit with athletic performance, especially running, because I feel like I burn through my glycogen stores, which is probably getting a little technical, but I definitely am a sugar burner. And I've heard that term before, but I didn't really know what it meant. But my body was always looking for sugar and carbs for energy. And if I didn't have a constant supply of that every couple hours, I would start to get hungry. I would start to get kind of cranky. So I just thought, like, I need to eat every couple hours. This program teaches you how to eat in a way that your body turns to burn fat for fuel instead of sugar. So there's certain things throughout the program that you're doing, how you're combining your food. So every meal you're doing lean protein, vegetable, a good dose of healthy fat, and you can put in some fruit in there too. But your carbs are coming from fruits and vegetables. So you're taking out the grains. But just eating that way and then stopping eating after dinner, not having anything after dinner, work to put my body into looking for fat for fuel instead of always looking for sugar and carbs for energy. Excuse me. So that was huge for me. And I was just saying this in my group last night because the ladies are a week behind me. That after dinner, I used to always be, after I put the kids to bed, starving for a snack. And now I eat dinner, clean up from dinner, usually I go brush my teeth and close down the kitchen as like a mental cue of the kitchen is closed, put my kids to bed, and I've been completely satisfied. I'm not looking in the cabinet for pretzels. I'm not looking for a glass of wine. I'm not getting out popcorn. I'm completely satisfied until I go to bed. Now, my stomach is empty when I'm going to bed, so it's cueing me to go to bed a little bit earlier so that I can get good sleep, and I'm really hungry when I get up in the morning. But all that time I'm sleeping, my body is burning fat, body fat, instead of just burning off the extra sugar and carbs that I was eating late at night. Okay, so that's awesome. And I can't wait to see how eating this way might impact me once I get into my running season this spring and summer. Okay, other things I learned for me personally, I knew that some grains were causing bloating for me for sure. After going through this, I realized it's the gluten-containing grains. The non-gluten grains don't seem to bother me as much. Dairy definitely causes gut issues for me and hormonal issues for me, affects my skin. What else? I learned how to incorporate more vegetables into my diet. I've always eaten the portion fix way, or I shouldn't say always. For several years, I've been eating the portion fix way, which, if you're familiar with that, you usually have a lot of green containers to eat every day, and most people struggle with that. In this, if I was always cooking extra leftovers or extra vegetables, so I would have leftovers. So I have had vegetables with my breakfast, where before I would never bother with that. Now I make sure I'm having carrots, or I'm having green beans, or maybe broccoli or asparagus or whatever with scrambled eggs. So I'm definitely eating much more vegetables, and I was eating a lot of vegetables before. So that's been kind of cool. It's just kind of retrained my brain a little bit to think about what my meal should be, regardless of the time of day. What else? I have learned how to incorporate more healthy fat in my diet. I know a lot of people that are in my groups are so afraid of consuming too much healthy fat because they think it's going to make them fat, which in reality, you really need it to feel satisfied. So when you're cutting out the grains and all that kind of stuff for this program, and you're replacing your carbs with just fruits and vegetables, it's much lower calorie. So you have to add in more healthy fat to make sure you're getting enough calories in this. So I really enjoyed using more olive oil. more avocados, more nuts, all kinds of things like that. I didn't have to feel like I was contained to this really small container or a couple teaspoons a day. So I've enjoyed incorporating more healthy fat in my diet, and I feel better eating this way. I learned how to make unsweetened coffee and tea, a couple recipes that I truly enjoy. I know that's a big one for a lot of people. I've learned how to consistently read food labels when I'm out grocery shopping and make good choices. These food manufacturers are really sneaky. There's a lot of hidden ingredients, a lot of hidden ways to add sugar and salt and fat. So when you are diligent about reading labels for 30 days because you know you can't have any sugar, it really teaches you to learn, okay, reading the back of a package of something and saying, oh my gosh, this has whatever in it. So that's been really good. And I've learned a bunch of new recipes, okay? Pretty much, I think I've only eaten out twice in the past 30 days, so everything else I've made. And I've been forced to make some new things that I really enjoy, that my family really enjoys, that's going to be in our normal rotation going forward. So I think sometimes when you like get out of your rut and you just try something new, you can learn new stuff that can be beneficial for you going forward. Okay, so how do I feel and what are my results? The whole point of this is on day one, you're allowed to weigh yourself, but then you put the scale away. So it's not supposed to be about weight loss or a diet or anything like that. It's really supposed to be about all the non-scale victories. And they give you a little checklist to look, and I was looking through and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can check so many things off. But the main things, way less bloating. I used to struggle with bloating quite a bit. I don't have the bloating. My pants are way looser. I can see more defined muscle tone in my arms. In my stomach is flatter, my legs. So I've lost a lot of that water weight that I was carrying before. Better skin. I'm in a better mood. I'm more patient with my kids in the evening during our super stressful time of getting home from school and homework and all of that. I'm more patient with them. I'm in a better mood. I've been going to bed earlier because I know I'm going to be hungry if I stay up too late. So I'm going to bed earlier, which in turn is getting me up earlier, which is helping me to be more productive. Mental clarity, much more mental clarity. Cutting out the sugar in the grains and all that has really helped with that. I just have an overall better relationship with food and alcohol because I'm not craving anything anymore. And I think the biggest thing is I feel completely in control of my choices. It is so freeing to not be controlled by craving stuff and then giving in and then feeling guilty. I'm not overeating. I'm not overindulging in stuff. I make a healthy meal. I eat until I'm not hungry anymore and then I move on. I don't have that afternoon slump anymore. That was a big one. I am more knowledgeable about what or how certain foods impact me. And there's a whole lot of other things, but I've introduced new recipes to my family. I've done something that I thought was really hard that I couldn't do, and I did it. So there's a lot of mental stuff with that too. And the month of January was not an easy month for me. Goodness gracious. I have had sick kids home. I have lost count how many days. 2 days every week for the whole month of January. Today is my 4th day in a row with a sick kid home. There's been a lot going on in the month of January, so it wasn't an easy month to do this. I don't know if there ever is an easy 30 days unless you're living like the perfect life, which I'm not. There's never going to be a perfect time to do this. You kind of just have to get to the point where you're ready for something different and you commit. I think that's my advice on this. So it wasn't an easy month for me, but I did it even though it was hard. And I think there's something to that of having my kids see me complete something, having my spouse see me complete something like this. And he just said last night, my husband just said last night, like, I'm really impressed that you were able to do this in the month of January. So that is a non-scale victory, to do something inspiring to somebody else, right? Okay. All right. Next question. What do I think helped me stay on track for the whole 30 days? First of all, I started with this book. It Starts with Food. That was helpful. If you don't like technical stuff, I'm an engineer, so I don't mind it. You might find this a little dry and boring, but I found it very interesting in understanding why and how the program was designed. That was helpful. And then having this book. The first half of it reiterates most of the program details that are in It Starts With Food, but it also goes through like, can I have? And then there's like a whole chapter on that. Plus the whole like second half of the book, I don't know if you can see where that orange thing is, the whole second half is recipes. So this was really helpful as well. But more importantly, I ran a little support group for this, and having the other ladies in there that I had to check in with every day was extremely helpful. So every night, every day we kept a food log of everything we were doing, and every night we share with each other. That has been extremely helpful, and we've all stayed on track, and we've all had a really great experience for the past month. So finding somebody to do it with you is definitely very helpful. And then my next biggest thing is just planning out your meals and grocery shopping regularly. If you have all the right foods on hand, and the ladies and I have talked about this, if you have the right stuff on hand at home, it's really easy to stick to the plan. But you have to commit to that, at least planning out your dinners and having the food on hand so that when you're hungry, you have the right things to grab. Because when you're hungry, you're going to eat no matter what. So you better make sure you have the right stuff in your refrigerator. Okay? And on day one, day one, when I started this, I went and I literally threw out the things that were going to be really tempting. We had a bottle of wine from New Year's Eve that wasn't finished. I literally dumped it down the sink, which was painful at the time, but I did it. We had chocolate from our favorite local chocolate shop, and I literally threw that away, which that was painful for me as well. But there are certain things, if you know it's in your house and it's going to tempt you, get rid of it before you start. If it's not there, then you have to make an effort to drive to the store and get it. So that helped a lot. It was painful in the beginning, but now I don't even think about it. Okay? So, my very last, no, it's not, a couple more. So what do you do after the Whole30? Excuse me. Okay, 30 days, you cut stuff out. Then phase 2 of the program is the reintroduction phase, which is what I'm in right now. There's 2 different schedules you can follow. One is it's kind of the fast track, they call it. You can introduce each category one by one, and they have a schedule for doing it. So you introduce the first categories. If you want to do like gluten-free alcohol, you don't have to. But say you want to, you do that on day 1, then you go back to Whole30 for 2 days, and then you try the next category, which is, I think, legumes. And then you introduce legumes, everything else is Whole30, and then you go back to Whole30, and then you do the next one. So that way you can evaluate how you feel after each category. The other one is called the slow roll, and that means if you are totally content eating Whole30, you're not really craving anything, you're not really missing anything, you kind of just wait until something comes up that's worth going off plan. Sorry about that. And then you indulge and have that as a treat. Okay? So there's 2 different ways of going about it. What I am choosing to do, and I am not, bear with me a second. I'm getting an alert. My phone is going to die. Sorry about that. The way I am doing it is I plan to, there are certain things that before I started this, I didn't really think were bothering me. So gluten-free alcohol doesn't really ever cause any issues for me. So that's something you can bring back. The gluten-free grains, looking through the list of gluten-free grains, I've never really felt like I had an issue with those. So I plan to reintroduce those. And then as far as the legumes, I never really had an issue with peanut butter. Peanuts are on there. So I plan to bring that back in the reintroduction phase and see how that goes. The other big ones on there are soy, which before I tried to avoid the big sources of soy, but there's soy in so many things, added to so many things, so I'm going to be a little bit more diligent on reading labels and trying to eliminate that. But I plan to bring those things back in this little reintroduction phase. But I don't plan to bring back the gluten-free or the gluten-containing grains or the dairy. I've had some issues with dairy for a while, and I feel so much better without it. So I'm just going to try to not bring it back until there's something that is really worthwhile, and then I will probably feel miserable the next day and not want to eat it. But that's my plan. So things like if I go out on a date night, if my kids ever get better and go back to their normal life, and I go on a date night and I want to have a glass of wine, I'm totally okay with that. My daughter's birthday is coming up. If we have cupcakes or whatever she picks for dessert that I make, homemade cookies, whatever, and I think it's worth it, I'm going to have something like that. But for the majority of the time, I'm totally happy eating this way, so I'm not going to add back in things that I know cause issues for me unless it's a special occasion or something I truly enjoy. Does that make sense? Okay. 2 more quick things. Who do I think could benefit from doing the Whole30? Okay? If you're just looking to eat better, you want to learn portion control, you want to eat healthier, you're new to clean eating, I think this program is a little extreme. I would point you towards the Portion Fix, which is used in all of the workout programs that I use with my clients. So if you're familiar with like 21 Day Fix and those kind of things, that eating plan is the best, well-rounded eating plan for teaching you not only portion control, but the healthy foods in each category. That is my favorite way to help people get on the right track for eating well. And if that's something that you think you could benefit from, I will be running a Nutrition 101 basic clean eating group coming up soon. Okay? What I think the Whole30 is good for is if you are somebody that you know how to eat well, but you really struggle with sugar and carb cravings like I was, and that vicious cycle, I think this program could be good for you. If you have any kind of health issue or symptoms related to gut issues, hormonal issues, or inflammation, I think this would be a good program for you. If you are somebody that has a chronic health issue, and your doctor says if you don't improve, then we're going to put you on medication for this to maintain your lifestyle going forward, and you don't want to go on medication, I would suggest trying this. And I've talked to quite a few people that are like that. My doctor said if I don't do XYZ, I'm going to have to go on this medication. I really don't want to do that. This would be a great program to see if there's something about your diet that you could change that could prevent you or eliminate going on a medication like that. Okay? So that's basically how I feel about the program. I think it's a great learning experience, but I don't think it's for just the average person that wants to like eat better or maybe lose 10 pounds. Okay? With that said, I focus on my non-scale results because that's what I did this program for. The very first day that I did this program, I weighed myself. I didn't take measurements, I didn't take pictures, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't do it. I tell my clients to do this all the time at the beginning of our groups. Take your pictures, take your measurements, weigh yourself, and then do it at the end so you have comparison. And I didn't do it because I really wasn't focused on the physical aspect of it. But I weighed myself on day 30 and I lost 7 pounds. So, you know, I'm fit, I'm healthy, I lost 7 pounds doing this program, which is insane, and I did not starve myself, I did not count calories, I didn't do any of that, I just ate healthy for 30 days. But that's how much bloating and body fat that I lost in 30 days. Plus, I have a scale that does body fat percentage, I lost 2% body fat in 30 days. So even though that was not my focus whatsoever, that is amazing for a 30-day program. Would I ever do it again? Absolutely. I know there's some things that you do it and you're like, that was awful, I'm never doing it again. Good luck to you if you want to try it, but that was awful. And that's how I thought I was going to feel. I thought I was going to be like, good riddance, I don't want to do this anymore, I can't wait to go back to how I was eating before, give me the wine and chocolate and pizza and donuts. But I don't, I'm not craving any of that stuff, I feel great. So would I do it again? Yes. I think part of this program, they talk about this in the book, when you're on the 30 days, it's pretty straightforward. You follow the rules to the T, you don't cheat. You're in this like cozy but kind of hard little bubble. Okay, when you get to the reintroduction phase, you're going back out into the real world and you're trying to reintroduce stuff that you enjoyed before to see if you can handle it or not. So you just know going back into the real world, you're going to be faced with temptation. I'm going to have chocolate chip cookies. I'm going to have wine. I'm going to have my favorite chocolate again. I know this because I'm all about balance. I like a healthy lifestyle, but I think you have to have balance too. So I know I'll be introducing stuff that I think is totally worth it. What I'm not going to do is just eat stuff because it's there, or eat stuff because we're out at a restaurant excuse me, I'm going to be much more mindful of, I know that's going to hurt me, so I'm going to pick something better. But I know going back into real life, there's going to be vacations, there's going to be celebrations, there's going to be birthday parties, there's going to be stuff where you just kind of slip off track again. And I know that I have this tool to go back to if I want to get back on track. So if I notice, wow, I've been eating a lot of sugar again. Wow, I know I've been really bloated again. Wow, I just feel like I need to get back on track. I know I can go back to this. So would I do it again? Yes. Do I think I'm going to follow these rules strict 100% of the time for the rest of my life? No, that's not what it's designed to be. Okay, so I know I talked a really long time on this, but there's so much to share about it. I learned so much, and I just really got so much more out of it than I thought that I would. And I'm really glad I decided to do this. So I hope this helps. I know it's a huge commitment if you're thinking about the program. It seems like you're giving up a lot. That's how I felt too, was I don't know if I can commit. I don't know if I want to give up all that stuff. I have gained so much in the past 30 days by taking on this challenge and giving up those things that it was totally worth it for me. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, you can jot them, you can type them in right now. I think we're still live. I think I still have a good connection down here in my office. So if you have some questions, I'll wait a second and see if you have anything. Otherwise, just post below. I'm going to save this and put it on my profile. So if you're watching this later and it's not live, post a question below and tag me and I will get back to you. Or I'm going to try to save this file and upload it to my YouTube channel. So it will be saved there for the future. So there's a way to leave comments on there as well, and I get notified of those. So if you have any questions, if you would be interested in a group in the future, I've saved, for the whole 30 days, I wrote down every single thing I ate every day. I had like a daily journal every day. So that way, wrote down all my recipes. So that way, if you want to do it again, or if somebody else wants to do it, I could help coach them through it. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions, and I'll give you my 100% honest review on how it was, what I did, what I didn't do. But I'm just happy to share what I'm learning, and I hope this inspires you to live a healthy lifestyle. Have a great day, everyone.